switched my career into the data analytics career path from the healthcare field, and I bet you there were a lot of things that I didn't sign up for. Like when I was making that switch, I did not prepare for a whole lot of things, right? So guys, in this video, I'll be telling you the things I wish I knew before I switched into the data analytical career path. So if you are coming from any career path, if you're a nurse, you're in finance, you're in commerce, and you are thinking or you are considering switching into tech, you're considering switching into data analytic career path, then guys, I want you to watch this video to the end because I'll be sharing with you the realistic, the frustrating aspect, and the good part of the data analytic career switch. Okay, so guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. You know, in this space, all I do is we discuss everything data. And in my today's video, I'll be sharing with you those things I wish I knew before I made a switch from the healthcare field into tech. So without wasting time, let's dive right in. The number one thing I wish I knew was my background wasn't useless. So when I was switching from nursing, I'm a nurse. I spent 3 years in nursing school, 4 years getting my BSc degree in nursing. So that's like 7 years, right? When I was making the switch from nursing into tech, at first I was scared. I was thinking, oh, after I spent this number of years, I was starting from 0 points. But it was a lie because I did not know or I did not have any idea that my healthcare background was important, and it was really important because I already had the healthcare background. I already knew how to work with patients data, medical data, medical claims data, working with EMR. It was easy to make that switch into healthcare analytics because I already had the understanding or I already knew how healthcare data works. So my understanding on how healthcare data works made it very useful for me to make my switch into healthcare analytics than somebody that knew SQL only. So guys, tech skill plus domain knowledge is a big advantage. Don't use it to play, okay? So imagine you are in banking or you're in commerce and you want to switch into tech. So imagine combining your domain knowledge regarding banking. You've been working as a banker and now you want to switch into tech. You already know how it feels to work with finance data, and now combining it with tech, it's a big advantage for you, not a setback. Okay, so when you are learning tech, probably you want to become a data analyst, don't take it as if you are starting from square zero, but you are actually upgrading. My second point is tools matter, but not the way you think it does. So when I was just starting out, all I wanted to do was learn Python, learn SQL, learn Excel, learn Tableau. You know how the data analytical tools. You just want to keep on learning, because at that point you feel that tools matters much, right? But I'm telling you now that not as much as your knowledge, not as much as critical thinking, not as much as asking the right questions. So you can know how to make use of these tools, but if you don't know how to ask the right questions, if you're not using your domain knowledge, if you're not thinking critically, then you will not be able to provide the right solutions to businesses. Remember that these businesses that are hiring you, they are doing that because they want you to profile solutions to their business, not because they want you to just create a dashboard, right? Not because they just want you to create charts for them, but they want you to provide solutions. So it's only when you ask the right questions, it's only when you are thinking critically, that's when you can be valuable to these businesses. So in as much as you need to learn tools like Python, Excel, SQL, you also need to know that you need to think critically, you need to learn how to ask the right questions. Aspects are still very important as learning the tool. The third key thing I wish I knew before I transitioned into data analytics was data cleaning occupies 70% of data analysis. Like you are going to spend almost 70% of your time cleaning data because you'll be working with messy data. When I say messy data, most of your data that is going to be given to you by your clients are going to be messy data because most of the times these people they don't know how to store data in the right format, right? Probably they just have an Excel file where they are dumping everything on it, or they just have a Google sheet where they are dumping everything on it. They are dumping all their old data, all their information on it. They don't know how to structure their data in the right way. And for you to start analyzing this data set, you need to be able to structure their data, the data set before you begin analysis. Most of the times, these data are going to contain missing values, they are going to be inconsistent IDs, they are going to be duplicate values, there are going to be a whole lot of missiness in your data. Like your data is going to be messy, and you need to learn how to clean your data before you start analyzing. And remember that a good data analyst is also a good data cleaner, right? So data cleaning occupies majority aspects of the data analysis job. And let me even tell you, that's like the most critical or the most tedious aspect of the job. On the number 4 point is communication is superpower, right? So imagine that you finish creating your dashboard. Your dashboard is looking good and cool, but now you need to communicate this insight to somebody that is not in the data analytical space. How do you do that? You need to tell somebody that has not used the dashboard before that, okay, this is what this dashboard is saying. This is the insight we are getting from this dashboard. Somebody that has not used a Pareto chart before, you need to explain what a Pareto chart does. Somebody that has not used a stack bar before, you need to explain to the person what the stack bar does. So communication is a very important aspect of this data analysis, right? You need to be able to communicate to your clients the insight you've gotten from the dashboard. So there's one thing to create dashboard, there's one thing to be able to get insight from your data. But another important thing is, are you being able to communicate these findings to the business owner? Can you clearly state to the business owner that this is what you are getting? Can your business owner be able to understand the dashboard in just a glance? So this is another important aspect. So in as much as you know how to make use of the tools, in as much as you know how to ask the right question, you should also learn how to communicate your findings to stakeholders. On the number 5 point is you cannot learn everything. Like this is one important aspect. This was something that was always like a burden to me when I was beginning because I always felt that there was this pressure that I needed to learn everything. Like I needed to learn Python, I needed to learn SQL, I needed to learn Tableau. I always felt like I needed to learn all these tools. But the truth is that you cannot learn everything, all right? You cannot learn everything. There are new things that are coming every day, and even the one that is already existing, you cannot learn everything. You need to make yourself understand that you cannot learn everything and reduce this pressure that you're always putting on yourself that, oh, I need to learn this, I need to learn that, I need to learn. Pick a tool. If it's SQL you want to start with, pick your SQL tool and start learning with that one. If it's Tableau you want to start with, pick a data visualization tool and start learning with that. If there's Python you want to learn with, pick your Python tool and start learning. Like pick a tool and focus on that one and start learning with it. Then over the time you can start introducing other tools as time goes on. But if you want to start, you want to learn Python, you want to learn SQL, you start seeing that you start picking from each of these tools and you will not become expert in anyone. Like you literally have basic knowledge of all without becoming any guru in anyone. So pick a tool and become good in that one. And when you've become good in that, with time you can start introducing other tools to it. So you can say, okay, I want to become good in and working with database, and you can pick SQL. You can say, oh, I want to become good in creating dashboard, and you can pick Tableau. You can say, oh, I want to become a great data scientist. You can pick Python. So pick any of these tools and start learning with it. And with time, you can start adding other tools to it. So imagine you've learned Tableau, you can now say, oh, I want to learn how data modeling works or how to work with database. Then you can now add SQL to it. Or you can start with SQL and say, okay, I've finished learning SQL. Now I want to start learning how to create dashboard um with my data set, right? So you can now add Tableau to it or Power BI or Excel. So pick one tool and become good in it. And if when it comes to data visualization tool, you have Tableau, Looker Studio, Power BI, Excel. Pick one and become good in that one. There's no need learning four different tools that does basically almost same thing and you don't even know how to use any of the four very well. So why don't you pick one and focus on that one? And when time goes on or as time goes on, you can now add other tools to it. Remember that multiple tools overwhelm. When you start learning plenty of these tools and you're not good in anyone, very soon you soon start feeling overwhelmed and you will just give up. Okay, so pick one, master that tool, and then you can add other tools as the journey goes. My number six point is portfolio is far more greater than certificates. Like I wish somebody told me this earlier on. At the beginning, all I wanted to do was get my certificate, get that Google certificate, get the data cloud certificate, write this exam. Guys, in as much as it's good to get your certificate, portfolio is also important. Like portfolio is even more important because you can say, oh, I'm a Google analyst. Oh, I just got my data account certificate as a data analyst. Oh, I just got this. But guys, the business owner that wants to employ you is not going to employ you based on your certificates. This one is not you just graduated from university. They want to see workings, show workings. So if you have a portfolio, if you have a, for example, in Tableau, when you keep on creating projects on public, then you have your Tableau public profile that will show you all the dashboards you've created. If you have something like that and you are applying for a job, then you can show your business owner these are the projects I have worked on. That person is going to be much more confident employing you than somebody that is just showing a certificate and I can't see any work you've done. I can't see any dashboard you've created. Like there's literally nothing out there that is saying, oh, this person is a data analyst, just your certificate. Who am I going to employ, guys? So that's just it. Portfolio is far, far more greater than certificate. So in as much as I'm not discouraging you to get that certificate, what I'm saying is build your portfolio as you are getting the certificate. Okay. As you are studying to get that certificate, make sure you work on project, pick a data set, work on it, show us what you are doing. If you are you want to get certificate based on SQL, pick this data set structures that have to do with joining data, working with database management system. Show us what you can do. Show us what you can do. And create a portfolio with it. If you are working with Excel, build dashboard or whatever you are doing, we just want you to show working. Are you getting my point? So show us what you can do with those two that you have learned. Okay, so you can for portfolios, you can either build a portfolios or just like I said in Tableau, you can create your portfolio by just working on dashboard. You can build portfolios. You can build your own personal website and add your projects to it. You can, if for example, you can even create your own profile on Notion, and you can add your dashboard which you create or any project if you've worked on it. Just create something that when you are looking for a job, you can share that, and it's not easy for somebody to go through it and say, okay, this person has done this projects before. Even if it's a fictitious project, just do something. Even if it's a fictitious data set, just make sure you do something that you can. Somebody can pinpoint on and say, oh, this person have done something related to this. Then I think this person can do the job. That's is what I'm trying to say. So, guys, portfolio is far, far, far more important than you just acquiring certificates. And on the last point, or on the number 7 point, is it's not about being technical, it's about being valuable. Okay, so most of the time, someone go into tech, or most people they just like, oh, tech girl, tech boy, like they just want this. Oh, I'm a tech guru, this techie lifestyle, whatever. But guys, it's not about being technical; it's about being valuable. The person that is going to hire you is not hiring you because you're a tech girl. It's hiring you because the person wants you to provide value to his business. The person wants you to provide insight to his business. So imagine an hospital hiring me to come and analyze their data. They want me to provide solution to a problem. All right. So that's what I'm trying to say. So it's not about being technical. It's not about learning. I'm always saying this. It's not about just learning the tools, but the ability to profile solution with those tools that you have learned. That is the most important thing. Okay, so make sure you use your past experience. If you are coming from, for example, if you are a nurse like me, then make sure you use your experience as a nurse and apply it with your data to provide solution. If you are a medical doctor and you want to go into tech, make sure you use your experience as a medical doctor. You've worked with patients, you know what patient data looks like, you know what patient diagnosis looks like you already have idea of these things. Then combine it with your data analytical skills and profile solution. If you are coming from banking sector, if you are coming from commerce, you already know what financial data looks like you in fact you already have more edge than somebody that is not coming from that field. So imagine somebody that is not coming from the commerce or banking sector, and the person wants to become a data analyst working in a bank. So who has more edge? Unlike you that already has already worked in the bank, you know what it looks like to work with finance data, and you now know the data analytical tool, so you have more edge. So make sure that you are making use of this, your past experience, your background knowledge. Make sure you are making use of it with your data analytical tools, and you are providing more value for what you are doing. So let me just give you a recap on all what I have said right now. So the first point I said is your background is a big advantage. So don't sleep on it. Don't say, oh, because I always get this message, oh, I'm a med lab and I'm trying to become a data analyst. Oh, what do you think? Oh, your background is a big advantage. Make use of it. All right. Make use of it. Don't see it as a limiting factor, but see it as something that is even giving you more advantage over others. On the second point, I said tools is very important, but thinking is more important. And I've always hammered on this. Don't allow your learning of tools take over your thinking aspect. Okay, these tools were created by humans so that you can make use of it to ease work. So it's not replacing your thinking aspect of the job. On the number 3 point, I said cleaning data is very important. If you are using messy data, you are going to be getting wrong insight. So data cleaning it covers a majority aspect of the job. On the number 4 point, I talked about communication, and I said communication is underrated because it is very, very important. You have to communicate your findings to your business owners, your clients, your stakeholders. You need to communicate your findings to them, and you need to learn how you are going to communicate these findings, because there are situations where there are different levels of the stakeholders. For example, you might just have a somebody that is not from the techie background, just a common business owner that wants you to analyze his or her data. You need to go down to the person's level to communicate your findings and insights to that person. So any level the person is on, if the person is a stakeholder and he knows what dashboard looks like, already knows how to interact with the dashboard, then when you're communicating your findings, you need to be in that level. Like you need to be at the same level with the business owner whensoever you're communicating your findings. If you have to come down to the person's level, come down. If you have to move up to the person's level, move up. But you just have to be at the same level to communicate your findings to the business owner. And on the number 5 point, I said you don't need to learn everything, right? Just need to focus on what you need to focus on and learn that first. And when you are done with that, you can move on to other things to avoid you being overstimulated. Okay, just focus on one, become good in that one, and move on to other things. Remember that you cannot learn everything. On the number 6 point, I talked about portfolios, and I said portfolios are much more important than getting that certificate. So, as you are getting the certificate, make sure you are building your portfolio, your own personal portfolio that you can show to business owners whenever you are seeking for jobs. And the last point I talked about, provide value to businesses. So, value is much more important than being technical. So that brings us to the end of this video. So as a newbie who is transitioning from any career path to the tech data analytical career path, I hope you've been able to learn one or two from this video. And if you were able to learn anything there, please ensure to give this video a thumbs up. And if you are new in this YouTube channel, then subscribe to this YouTube channel because I'll be dropping more content relating to data analysis. And if you go through this YouTube channel, I bet you there are a whole lot of content regarding learning Python, Tableau, and so forth. So, guys, this week shout out will be going to d_olumashi. Thank you for commenting on my videos. So, guys, ensure to comment on my videos because I will be giving a shout out every week, and you might just be the one that I'll be giving a shout out to. So, ensure to subscribe and comment on my videos. Guys, bye for now, and see you on my next video.